Welcome back to MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things magic. In today's video, we're going to add the next 20 creature cards with mana values of 6 into our Momir Vig Cube. Thank you for choosing MTG Burgeoning for your Magic the Gathering content. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and consider becoming a subscriber. Doing so supports the channel and makes you eligible for our various subscriber rewards series. If you would like to support the channel further, then click the link to our Patreon page in the description below. There you can join our ongoing Pack Wars series as a 1-month supporter or ongoing member. Or try joining Pack Wars for free by commenting on every MTG Burgeoning video in a month. We strive to offer creative rewards through our various Patreon tiers. So if Pack Wars isn't for you, then something else will be. Links to our content and various subscriber rewards series can be found in the description below. Send us an email, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. We are your channel for all things magic. What's up, MTG That is the MTG Burgeoning community. Welcome back to another installment in our ongoing Momir Vig Cube series. If you are unfamiliar with this series or just need a refresher, you can click the link in the description below to MTG Burgeoning's introduction to the Momir Vig Cube. And while you're down there fishing around in the description, you can also click the link to Cube Cobra, where you can see the entire contents of the cube as it stands right now. So for today, we've got 20 with mana values of 6 going in, and the first is the Phyrexian Juggernaut, a 5/5 Infector that attacks each and every turn if able. Can you imagine having a 5/5 Infector that has to attack every single turn? Oh baby, you better have to double up to make sure you don't get any infect damage with that. We're going to stay with a colorless creature, and we're going to go with Phyrexian Snow Crusher. This is a 6/5 that attacks each turn if able. It too is a Juggernaut. We can pay 1 and a snow mana of any color to give it +1/+0 until end of turn. But you must use snow mana to do so. So make sure that your basic land library has those oh so important snow lands. Creature number 3 is a mono blue edition. It is Plasma Elemental, a 4/1 that cannot be blocked. For 6 mana invested, a 4/1 unblockable creature. That is not a bad return on a blue creature's mana cost. All right, next up we've got Mono Black, and it's the Pontiff of Blight, a 2/7 zombie cleric with the Extort mechanic. For anyone who is unfamiliar with Extort, it's whenever you cast a spell, you may pay a white or a black mana, and if you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain that much life. But notice it has to be white or black mana, so make sure you have those plains and those swamps in your basic land library. And the Pontiff of Blight gives other creatures you control Extort. In a format like Momir Vig, where each player begins with 24 life, and the entire format is combat-driven because it's all creatures all the time, any other mechanics that can help to lower the life totals of our opponents are highly coveted, and Pontiff of Blight offers that as long as you have the white and black mana to use it. Creature number 5, our first mono green edition, is Primordial Sage, a 4/5 spirit. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may draw a card. So how about using this to summon copies from the Momir Vig Cube and draw a card each turn when you do so? Staying in mono green for creature number 6, it is Primeval Titan, a 6/6 giant with trample. When it enters the battlefield or when it attacks, you can search your library for 2 lands and put them onto the battlefield tapped. If this does not grant you the ability to ramp out creatures way ahead of curve, particularly in formats outside of Momir Vig, then you're not playing with Primetime in the right way. Next up, our first mono white edition, we have an angel. It is the Pristine Angel, a 4/4 flyer. And when it's untapped, it has protection from artifacts in all colors. And whenever you cast a spell, you may untap Pristine Angel. So you can send it into combat. It has the evasiveness of flying, so hopefully you can strike for some combat damage to one of your opponents. Then you can summon a creature from the Momir Vig Cube, put a copy of it into play, and untap Pristine Angel. Our first multicolored edition, it is Progenitor Mimic. It is a shapeshifter that when it ETBs, it does so as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it gains at the beginning of your upkeep. If this creature is not a token, create a token that's a copy of this creature. Do not copy your legendary creatures if you want them to stay around on the battlefield, because due to the legend rule, as soon as one of those tokens are created, it's going to have to force you into a situation where you immediately put one of them into your graveyard. This is a great creature that you want to target for one of your lords, or maybe one of your creatures that have valuable ETB or leave the battlefield triggers. Either way, Progenitor Mimic could cause quite a stir on the battlefield if you're fortunate enough to summon a copy of it to your side. Staying in multicolored, we have Prosh Skyraider of Kerr. It's a 5/5 flyer that when it ETBs, you're going to create 6 red kobold creature tokens. It's only going to be 6 because you're only going to use the 6 mana that you funneled into your Simic Visionary avatar. But what you end up with is a 5/5 flyer with 6 potentially wonderful sacrificial or chump blocking kobolds. Prosh could end up being one of the most powerful 6-drops in the entire cube. And bringing us to the halfway point of this video, we're back to mono white. We have Protector of the Crown, a 2/5 giant soldier that when it ETBs, we become the Monarch. Yes, we do have the Monarch woven into the Momir Vig Cube. All damage that will be dealt to us is dealt to Protector of the Crown instead. This is a fantastic way to help manage the battlefield, manage combat, make sure that we can keep that Monarch for multiple rounds of turns, putting multiple cards in our hand that will only allow us to out-resource and eventually outclass our opponents on the battlefield. All right, creature number 11, another multicolored edition. This time it's Rakdos the Showstopper, a 6/6 trampling flying demon. When it ETBs, we flip a coin for each creature that is not a demon, a devil, or an imp, and we destroy each creature whose coin comes up tails. Yes, there are some demons. Yes, there are some devils. I have to think there might be an imp or two floating around in this cube at this point. The chances are, even if it's a 50-50 shot, we get a 6/6 flying trampler and each one of our opponents loses half of their creatures. We're going to take that every single day of the week and twice on Friday Night Magic. Next up, back to a mono green creature, back to one that's a 6/6, back to one that's a trampler. But it's not prime time. This time it is Rampaging Bay loss. Whenever a land ETB is under our control, we're going to create a 4/4 green beast creature token. Again, we continue to hammer the point home. Any creatures that can create creatures are going to be highly coveted in the Momir Vig format. Speaking of which, we go to our first mono red creature. This time it is Rapacious One, a 5/4 trampling Eldrazi drone. Whenever it deals combat damage to an opponent, we will create that many 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens, which we can use as fantastic chump blockers, or we can just sacrifice them straight up to add 1 colorless mana to our mana pool, which will help to allow us to ramp out creatures from the cube way ahead of curve. We are back to colorless creatures. That's how we started off this video. This time it's a Shadowmoor common. It's a Rattle Blaze Scarecrow. It's 5/3, but it has persist as long as you control a black creature, which in the format of Momir Vig is completely meaningless because once a token leaves the battlefield, which every copy that is summoned from the cube is, it ceases to exist. However, Rattle Blaze Scarecrow will have haste as long as we control a red creature. Next up, as we reach the 3/4 mark of this video, mono green, we have Realm Seekers. It's an Elf Scout for 0/0, but it will ETB with X +1/+1 counters, where X is the total number of cards in all players' hands. We can pay 2 and a green mana and take one of these +1/+1 counters off of Realm Seekers to search our library for a land, reveal it, and put it into our hand. We can only do so, of course, if we have the green mana to activate its ability, so make sure you have those forests in your basic land library. And the land fetching may not seem like it's a very valuable commodity in this type of format, but just think, you may have a creature on your side of the battlefield that you cannot activate its abilities because you don't have the right kind of mana. Maybe you're missing a specific color, or maybe you need snow mana. Realm Seekers will help you to fix those concerns. All right, we're back to mono green. We're back to trample, but we're not quite at a 6/6, but we're bringing back the Monarch. It's Regal Behemoth, a 5/5 trampling lizard. When Regal Behemoth ETBs, we become the Monarch. Whenever we tap a land for mana while we're the Monarch, we'll add 1 mana of any color to our mana pool. So we're going to double up the mana that our lands can produce as long as we can hold on to the Monarch. And that's all on the back of a 5/5 trampling lizard. All right, creature number 17, we are going back to mono white, the Requiem Angel. There is no angel that is more underloved and underplayed than Requiem Angel. It's a 5/5 flyer, and whenever another non-spirit creature token we control dies, we create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. I hope I didn't add non-token. Let me read that one more time. Whenever another non-spirit creature we control dies, doesn't have to be token, just non-spirit creature. Whenever a non-spirit creature we control dies, we create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. So each time one of our non-spirits dies, we get a 1/1 flying evasive creature, all from Requiem Angel, that's coming on the body of a 5/5 angel for the investment of just 6 mana into our Cynic Visionary avatar. That, in this format, is absolute gold. All right, back to mono red, we have Ripscale Predator, a 6/5 that can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures, which in this day and age, it means it's a 6/5 with menace. Creature number 19, back to mono green. We have the Roughshot Mentor, a 5/4 giant warrior that gives green creatures we control trample. Mass enablement of evasion across our board. As long as those creatures are green, we will take it. All right, last creature up for today. It's creature number 20. It's another mono red edition. It is Rumbling Ruin, a 6/6 elemental. When it ETBs, we count the number of +1/+1 counters on creatures we control. Creatures our opponents control with power less than or equal to that number cannot block this turn. If you are fortunate enough to summon enough components, enough creatures to have a very strong +1/+1 counter theme on your side of the battlefield, and then you're fortunate enough to get the Rumbling Ruin, you could, in effect, take out at least one opponent, and maybe even more. All right, so there you go, MTG BC. 20 more creature cards with mana values of 6 going into the Momir Vig Cube. Which are your favorites? This is MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things Magic.